Hey guys, Abner, Miranda here. Welcome out to the range. Today I wanted to do a quick video for you on setting up your two-point sling. Every once in a while I get the subject out because it needs a refresher. And what's cool about it is, as I have been going to training, specifically in the last year or so, it's neat to see how people are changing. How can I put this? It's neat to see how people are changing their views on training and how they're changing their focus on how they approach the problem of ammunition shortages, equipment shortages, and that has changed how how open people are to information. Last December, and then again just about a month ago, I went out to Valor Ridge and ran part of the class with a single point sling, part of the class with a two-point sling, ran part of the class with, actually it wasn't this gun, it was my 11.3, but it looks very similar to this gun. But it was set up with a two-point sling. Actually no, I'm sorry, that one was set up with a single point sling. And I try to stay current, guys. I will actually run part of the class with one gun, part of the class with another gun, because these are guns that I draw from regularly and I want to stay current. And one of the things that I have found is that when it comes to a two-point sling and you're doing like a malfunction drill or just running empty like I just did here, if you don't have enough room in that sling to maneuver the weapon, you're going to create your own problem. Meaning, if you've got your sling sucked up so tight against your body that when you go to push that gun out to work with it, if you don't have the ability to get that gun out freely right here and actually, for example, do a tack swap, because you've got this thing set up too tight, you've got a problem. Now I'm going to tell you right now, even my slings with the shot cord, the bungee in them, you're not going to have enough room. Well, it's going to be easier for you to muscle that gun out there or cantilever that gun out there, but look at what you got going on over here. Because remember, the shot cord is on this side, so that when the weapon is on sling and you're walking around with it, it's taking the bounce of that weapon out so that it's not jolting onto your neck. But once it goes here, it's a different story. But also, when you're working with the gun, your support arm, it's not going to have the room that it needs if you haven't already created the room. And guys, remember, this is a set it up now before you actually have to run the gun hard. So like, for example, if you have a malfunction drill that you've got to work with, why don't I just create a malfunction drill for you? In fact, I'm going to show you a little trick. One of the things that you can do is the simplest way to do this, honestly, is to partially close the ejection port cover. And I'm just going to do it right here. I've got a safe direction over here. Watch. And now I've created a malfunction. And a fairly ugly one too. If you've got this going on, by the way, that means that your bolt carrier is moving so stinking fast that your gun has extracted under case obturation, meaning that the case is expanded. Your bolt carrier has potentially skipped off your casing. The extractor has potentially skipped off the casing. The bolt carrier group, buffer and spring, have traveled to its rearmost position in the buffer tube and have bounced off the back of that buffer tube and have come forward violently to such a degree that that casing never even had time to get out of the way, which is why the ejection port cover created that form. It created that effect. Well, for this, remember, this is in the midst of a gunfight. So now the problem that I have to deal with, I fire the first round, I go to fire second round, and I've got a dead trigger. Now, reality dictates that I immediately transition to my sidearm and take care of the problem, whether it be here or whether it be way out there, which is why you saw me transition to my sidearm. Long shots like this with a handgun, especially with a 9mm because the trajectory is so flat, are a very doable thing. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I have to fix this problem. Well, then I move to cover, tap, rack, and now I've created a further problem, because now I've got a round trying to get in the chamber. So once again, that just fell out. gun doesn't fire. Charging handle feels kind of wonky. At this point, it's hard extraction, and it's rack. Now I can't. I mean, guys, you can't make this stuff up, y'all. Check it out. This actually created the nightmare scenario. There are actually 2 rounds trying to get in that chamber now. So now, it's release the mag, lock the weapon to the rear, which is charging handle as hard back as it'll go, ping pong paddle pressed at the bottom, lock it to the rear, charging handle forward. Take your hand, not like this, fingers up inside, work that mess loose, and then bolt forward, 1, 2, 3, mag in, and it's AK style. It's always placed AK style in case you end up with this going on, where you've got a round that's advancing. Mag goes in, rack the gun, gun's fixed. The reason I was able to do all of that is because I had created enough room in this sling to get the gun in my workspace and be cognizant of the fact that this is an impediment. The one thing you'll consistently hear in training, oh, wait a minute, because there's money on the ground. I got money right there. I know there's another live round here somewhere, and you better show yourself. Yeah, that's where we are, because that's money. Inspect your rounds before you feed them back in your magazine to make sure that you don't have a dinged up one, because even with ammo costs the way they are, you do not want to be risking your life for 80 cents. One thing that I consistently hear in training, and one thing that I say to people in training, is if you have a single point sling, this is where you're going to shine. And whether that be a shooting drill, a malfunction drill, an injured shooter drill, whatever, single point slings shine right up until you have to carry the gun for an extended period of time. Now, you guys have seen me do the little thing where you wrap around the magazine, slide it around your back, and that works. I demonstrate that more for the times where you have to take a knee, you have to go over a barrier, you have to climb a ladder, those things. But for extended wearing of a gun, bro, hands down, don't even think about it. For extended wearing of a gun, it's going to be 2 points, because the 2 point sling creates the room across your back to take the load of the rifle for you, most especially if you have a lightweight gun. This gun is in the 6-pound range as you see it, minus ammunition, of course. You end up with, if you set up your gun correctly, you end up with a gun that you can work with on a 2 point sling that is not going to fatigue you. And guys, take this from someone who has extended experience wearing guns for days on end, for anywhere from 8 to 10 solid hours of wearing that gun. In fact, I'm the guy who has at times intentionally not removed my gun, even during a lunch break, purely because I want to know, is it going to work to wear this gun seated, standing, walking, doing administrative tasks, driving from one section of the range to another. So I'm in and out of vehicles with rifles on. And by the way, when I'm seated in the vehicle, the gun goes between my legs. This portion rests here, and I can drive with it. It works. I mean, it really works well. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, which is why I tested. My vehicle's sitting like 6 feet in this direction. So anyways, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to keep getting these videos out and keep refreshing them, because people are still asking questions. Which sling do I need? How do I set it up? Guys, when you set your sling up, you want to create enough room in this setup that when you pick the gun up, you can initially fight with it without the sling being in your way. And then it is immediately onto your person and moving, or storing that weapon and moving, whatever the case may be. And having a weapon that is able to come back around efficiently without a whole lot of hubbub to pull things. Oh, actually, that's the point that I wanted to make earlier. The issue that I constantly see with 2 point slings is the operator ends up trying to go over, under, and many times they will end up fighting that gun, fighting to get that gun up, and they're tied up in their own sling doing this. Guys, I've seen it many times. So I'm telling you this out of experience. Whatever setup you choose, single point or 2 point, they both work fine, but you got to practice with them. Creating malfunction drills, even without ammunition in your home, is not that hard. Spending time wearing and carrying your weapon really does matter. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.